So you've decided to sell your car, and just like everyone, you want as much money as you can out of it, but there is only one problem. And if it isn't obvious, that problem is the roof liner. And in today's episode, we're gonna show you guys how to get this looking mint. So as you can see, we're in the back seat, and yeah, as you can see, this has really started to drop. Now there's a couple of things you could do if you really want to be cheap and nasty, is get some pins or some tacks, tack, do a nice little pattern and leave it at that. But no, we are going full send on this. We're going to be ripping this out, cleaning it and putting new fabric in. And I'm going to show you guys at home how to get it done with pretty much just basic tools around the shed. Mainly just a vacuum cleaner, a spray gun, and maybe some scissors pretty much. But first things first, what we've got to do now is we're going to get through this whole car, unpull all these, undo this, and actually get this thing out through the back window. Now, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that you're not going to look very elegant doing this. As you can see, you have to put those seats down, you have to get on your back, and you have to try and get all these clips out without getting stuff in your face. If you're wondering about the toolkit I'm using one of these that I got from Temu. Yes, occasionally you can buy some good stuff off there, and this has really helped me out getting all these plastic trims off without causing any extra damage. How do you take it? So now we're at the point, we've got everything disconnected except for that front light out the front there, as you can see. But this is not ready to come out yet. Now what we need to do is we just need to remove all these trims like that to expose the end bits. And we need to probably just move these plastic bits out of the way. Now I'm hoping I don't have to take all the plastics off, because that would be pretty extreme. But if you could just separate them like that, hopefully this will slide out quite easily. So wish me luck, and let's see how we go. We are super lucky with this one. We just have to move the plastic trim to the side. We have to remove those door seals, and the roof pretty much just comes out. There is a bit of wiring, and in a lot of cases that is the way. So if you're ever about to pull it out, just make sure you pop your head up and make sure there's no wiring there, because the last thing you want to do is rip the electronics out of your car. Well, as you can see, this thing has definitely seen better days. Now, what's really different about this one is the fact that the electronics are actually bolted to the actual roof. That's really bizarre. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Ford do weird things. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this up, the most satisfying bit, and we're going to use that not really as a template, but just to get the measurements for the new one. So that's gone. Now, to do this bit, and as you see, this is quite easy. You can do it like that by hand, or you can just get a vacuum and suck it up, but my favorite way of doing it is just doing both. And as you can see, this stuff is coming off very easy because it was already breaking down. So with a vacuum and my hand, I'm able to do this whole thing in about 10 minutes. Once I've done that, I undo the front light panel, and then I move on to blowing this all down with some high pressure air and getting it ready for the glue. If you're wondering where I got this roof lining from, I just went down to my local auto trimmer. They were happy to sell it to me, and they gave me a great price. I got it cut slightly oversized so I could wrap it around the edges, and while I was there, I really should have just asked, is there a difference between spray adhesive and brush adhesive? Because after starting with the center, I noticed very quickly all wasn't going to plan. Alright guys, I gotta be honest with you, that definitely did not come out the way I wanted it to. So, I've gone back to the store and I've grabbed me some of this. And as you can see, this sounds a lot less thick. I don't know what happened. I don't know if this stuff goes out of date. I don't know, but this is definitely the wrong stuff to be using out of that spray can. If I can get the gun to work properly, it's gonna give it a bit more of a smoother finish. And when I take the camera down, I'll show you guys what I actually mean. As from a distance, you can't really see what I'm talking about. And this is what I'm talking about. You can clearly see right there how thick that adhesive actually was. This new stuff is spraying way more evenly and flowing way better. Now the trick to get a good bond is to spray the roof lining and then spray your material and wait for that glue to go a bit tacky. And then all you have to do is press the material down. A trick here is not to go super heavy on the glue, and then when you're laying down your material, not to press too hard, as doing so might cause that glue to come through. Now I'm working my way from the center, as this is where the most curves on this roof was. And I find you should always start at the hardest part first and work your way away from it. Another thing to do to make things more manageable is to do the roof in sections. The sun visor can be a tricky thing to get right, so I like to pay extra attention to this spot. As you can see from this angle, you can see how much I am spraying out and how thick that layer is. You'll also notice that I'm leaving the corners alone, as this will be the very last thing that I spray and wrap. Once I'm done there, it's just a rinse and repeat process. I head to the back and I do exactly the same thing on the back. Spraying the material and the roof lining, wait until they're tacky, and then press them together. As you can see, this time I chose not to use gloves, as my gloves kept getting glue onto them. And that's probably something you should watch out for when you're doing this as well. All right, now we're on to the most important bit, and that is doing the edges. Now, the reason why I like to leave these last is because you get your glue, you get to spray it on nice and thick, so you make sure that these are 100% going to stick and they're not going to go anywhere. If these fail, pretty much the whole roof is going to fail. So take your time, get it nice and thick on there, and then pull over. Obviously, don't overdo it because you will go through the foam, but make sure you put enough on there that's actually going to stick. And then what we go do is leave for 24 hours and then get some scissors. What's that noise? I got the scissors! Ow! Now, doing this on a budget means using whatever you got around the house, like using normal scissors. But I'm left-handed, and that definitely isn't the brightest thing to do when you're trying to cut something really, really neatly. You can see at the end I was about 2 millimeters off from making a massive mistake. So my tip would be spend the extra 20 bucks and get yourself a good set of scissors to knock this out. Luckily for me, it came out looking mint. Never elegant, is it? Okay, this might take a while. As you can see, with one person it is possible to do, but with two people it would be very handy, because you don't want to end up flexing that roof lining around too much, as you might end up creasing it. Regardless, I was able to get it in without breaking my back. So as you can see, it's the next day, the sun is out, and that means I actually get to show you guys how this turned out. Really, it's a really, really nice job. I mean, it was a pain in the ass because it's so big, but it's come out awesome. Now the thing is, we spent about $300 with parts and glue, and then an extra 60 bucks on top of that with the spray gun. And I think the spray gun was totally worth it, especially doing something so big. If it's just like a little trim and stuff, I'm still gonna stick with a paintbrush because it's not really worth cleaning out a spray gun to do little things, but to do this, man, made such a difference. And really, I think we've added about 1,500 bucks of value back into the car. So, I mean, I think that's worth it. I don't know about you guys. Leave it in the comments if you think it was. But yeah, guys, what do you reckon? I reckon it is a top-notch job. Came close in a couple of spots, but it looks professional to me. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. It's going to last for a long time, and it looks like someone knew what they were doing, which was awesome. So, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And hopefully we can bring you more stuff like this that's going to actually help you in the future. I'll catch you in the next one.